Hi folks, Matt Easton here, Scholar Gladiatoria. So this is a short video talking about how to grip the Viking sword. I have done a longer video in the past, but I've noticed recently a few people posting on this topic and mentioning things that I think, you should watch my video, or you haven't watched my video. So I thought I'll do a little, really quick summary. So I'll stop waffling. Very simply, when you take your sword, don't orientate your grip towards the top, towards the cross guard, leaving the what's anything left, if you have anything left of the handle sticking out at the bottom and the pommel sticking out sideways, such that it's going to collide with your wrist or your palm of your hand or heel of your hand. Instead, orientate the sword, or the grip, the hand towards the bottom of the grip, such that your little finger comes right up against that pommel. And what you'll now find is that the pommel slides past the heel of your hand, which aids edge alignment, aids sword retention, grip retention, makes it harder for the sword to be knocked out of your hand, also gives you a little bit of extra reach. And you will notice, if we look at Ian Pearce's Swords of the Viking era, Swords of the Viking Age, you will notice that pretty much the longest grips in there are about 11 centimeters. The majority of Viking Age grips on swords, and the same goes back to migration era grips as well, so we're looking at swords from right the way from the 4th and 5th century right the way through to the 11th century. The longest, whilst the longest might be about 11 centimeters, most of them are about 8 centimeters, so they're pretty damn small. And most people who try to grip these grips that are that small and push their hand up towards the top of the guard, finding that this sticks in here, that's pretty uncomfortable. However, it's far more tolerable if you let your hand come towards the bottom of the grip like that, and you will notice this grip is fairly short. This is historically short. I think it's about 9 centimeters. This is obviously an Albion. But if I put my hand towards the bottom, I'm left with at least a centimetre to spare above my hand. I could grip this sword if the grip was a centimetre shorter. I'm not small, I'm not massive, but I'm not small. I'm 6'1", 185 pounds-ish, and my hands are relatively large, or at least they're not chunky, but I've got fairly long fingers and fairly broad palms. So I am, by Dark Age, if we call it that, Viking era standards, I am fairly large. I'm certainly fairly tall, and yet I can comfortably hold a 8.5, possibly even 8 centimetre grip using this method of gripping, and it's completely secure, and I can swing from the wrist, I can swing from the elbow, I could swing from the shoulder, and it's a very secure grip and gives me very good edge alignment. So do not always think about gripping swords towards the top and towards the crossguard, because that is correct for lots of types of swords, and certainly correct for most types of arming swords, and anything of course that you're going to put your finger over the guard of, over the quillon of. But for Viking era swords, not Viking swords remember, Viking era swords, you should, in my opinion, in my current opinion, and it may change in the future, you should orientate the hand towards the bottom of the grip. Cheers folks. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and feel free to follow us on Facebook.